Oh,
I'm just gonna go right into it.
First off.
Okay.
Who are you?
I am Emily, also known as GiraffesEatTrees on pretty much every platform.
I always have a hard time just saying your name, GiraffesEatTrees.
GiraffesEatTrees, yes.
So, how have you been holding up through all of this quarantine stuff?
Oh, man. Well, everyone pretty much here in my household, me, my wife, my roommate, we're all city and county government employees, so we're all still reporting to work. I gotta be honest, I caved and I joined TikTok, and honestly, it's the greatest thing in the world.
Oh, man.
It's so gay. I don't know. Like, if you get past the thirst traps, TikTok's the gayest thing ever.
Everybody go follow GiraffesEatTrees on TikTok.
No, don't do that. I have nothing on my TikTok.
Oh, okay.
I just like everything, but I'm just kind of like scrolling through and liking all the gay content, all of it.
I see a lot of Glee memes come out of there.
Yes. Oh my God. There's so many, and it's so great to see because there's like all these younger, like the younger generation of kids who are like watching Glee for the first time, and there was one I just saw recently, and they're like, it was the episode where Brittany is talking about how she thinks she's pregnant, and like the person who was just filming it, they were just like, Brittany carried the show. Why is everyone sleeping on her?
I love it. I'm not on there, but I love what comes out of there. How did you get into Britannia?
Okay, so I initially started watching Glee like right from the jump, but I didn't keep up with it. And then one day, my coworker was like, "Oh my God, bitch, you need to catch up. There's lesbians." And I was like, "Okay, you don't need to say any more. I'm on." That's pretty much it. I mean, like Glee in general, that's how I got into Glee, but then,
How long have you been writing them?
So my first fic was, let's see, it was probably around 8 years ago. Oh, it was horrible, but I had like 30-something chapters. It ended up deleting the whole thing like 5-ish years ago. Yeah, 8 years ago was probably my first fic that I published, and then a couple years back I started writing again, so here we are.
I can't believe you deleted, 30 chapters?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It was bad.
Dude. That's like so much work. Did you preserve that in any way? At least for
I
yourself?
do.
Okay.
I have it on my Google Docs. I attempted to reread it a couple times, and it's just, I was gonna try and rewrite it and try to make it, better, but I don't think I can save that, man. It's just, whoosh. Ugh.
May I ask, what was the basic premise of this?
It was like a college fic. Honestly, there wasn't really like a major theme. It was just me writing and like word vomiting onto my computer, and it just happened to turn out to be like 30-something chapters, and I don't know how that happened, but yeah, so I mean that one was based in Hawaii, and I think I just wanted to put them in Hawaii for some reason. It just turned into like this massive thing, and I don't know how it happened, but it did.
So the first fic of yours I ever read was Locked Out of Heaven, and I love that one so much because it's like the perfect blend of sexy, cute, and funny. And it's like Britannia's teenage daughter walks in on them during the act and is understandably scarred for life. And I enjoyed seeing a glimpse of Britannia as dorky moms to a teenager in that one. It also gave me some very unfortunate flashbacks to this one time I walked in on my own parents in my own bedroom.
God. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. I remember I even mentioned that when I left the review for that fic.
Yeah, I remember that.
And you also have this amazing anniversary fic in which Britannia makes it tradition to travel to Hawaii every year. And I think that fic is special because, one, you obviously know that place and you're able to bring a lot of detail and depth there because that's your home and your life. And two, we simply just don't have very many honeymoon anniversary fics out there, which, I mean, it's a shame because I think we should have more.
If you ask anybody that knows me, I'm seriously like the worst like local person from Hawaii. I hate the beach, I hate hiking, I probably hate the sun, like I don't know, it's just, but I just felt like it was a great way to honor, I guess, like, where I was born and raised, you know,
Mm-hmm.
aside from that first fic, let's not talk about that one. But I was really hesitant at first because I know I'm not the most local person, but my wife, no joke, is like the exact opposite of me. Like, her whole family is like the kind of Hawaiians that are like one with the land. So I pick her brain a lot to make sure that, you know, things are sound right. It's just, I'm seriously the worst local. Like, I'm sorry.
I'm like not even going to attempt to say the name of that fic, but can you say it for me?
It's Hanaho.
Okay. Can everybody go read that fic by GiraffesEatTrees, because it's adorable, and I mean, who doesn't love it? Who doesn't love honeymoon anniversary fics?
It's great too, because since I wrote it, anytime I go to any like local party or any like, I don't know, like anything really, and because people here, we use Hanaho a lot. Like, a lot of us, I mean, I don't, because that just sounds odd coming from my mouth, like if I were to scream it, but, you know, like when there's a performance or anything, and anytime someone yells it from the back, I immediately think of my fic as soon as someone says it. It's so often, and I'm like, God damn it. And I have to remember that I have to fucking update that shit, and I haven't updated it this year yet, and I don't know, I just feel like shit every time I hear it from somebody.
Oh, but don't, because I mean, what you have of it so far is super sweet and super enjoyable, and I love it. Now, another fic you have is really notable, which is Song of Mine, and I feel like I took a look at it recently, and I was like, whoa, this fic has so many reviews, but sadly, I have not been able to read it myself, and me and you have discussed this before, and that's because I came from a religious background, and I was raised in the church, and so I know that life and experience very well. And religion is such a heavy subject, and everyone has different experiences with it, obviously. I'm sure there's many great, wonderful communities out there. Unfortunately, in my case, I think I walked away from it with a lot of baggage. Like, religion and the church made me hate myself for a very long time. And as a child, I very much felt like I was some disgusting, monstrous thing because of what was being brainwashed into me. So I was able to walk away from that, and it was the best decision for myself. But for my own, like, mental health, I steer clear of that place and that topic. But I absolutely respect you as a storyteller. I just couldn't bring myself to dive into that one, even though I have faith that you would explore that storyline with care. So, all of that said, what made you want to write Song of Mine? Before you dive into that, can you just give a brief summary of what Song of Mine is?
Okay, so Song of Mine basically is Britannia in a setting where, you know, they meet when they're teachers, so to say, in like a Christian school, like a Christian high school. You know, I don't know how much to say without giving away too many things, because I don't want to do that. But basically, it's a love story, but there's a lot of twists and turns in there, only because of where the setting is. But yeah, basically, it's like a struggle of faith and love, and choosing love over that, I guess, in a sense. But it started off as more of like a personal type of project. When I look back on it, when I started writing it, it was more of to get it off my chest, and I don't think that I was planning on posting it.
Mm-hmm.
But then it was after I got like enough written out, I think I was like, okay, well maybe I should think about posting something like this, because it actually ends up kind of helping me along the way. But I mean, generally, like, the idea of it is very loosely based off of my own experiences, obviously, but I take a lot of liberties. But basically, the bare bones of it is actually my own love story. So that's pretty much what the inspiration came from.
While I haven't read it myself, I definitely feel like it has the capacity to help others process their own experiences with religion and the church. So has any reader ever, like, reached out to you to tell you about their own experience?
Definitely. And I love that they feel comfortable enough to reach out to me like that. And I actually get really emotional about it. So it's, if any of you are out there who are, hesitant, don't worry, just reach out because it's great. And I love having conversations about it because sometimes they just want to get it off their chest too. And they just want to talk to somebody and vent to somebody about it. So, it's great. It's a great thing that we're able to do.
Yeah, that's very cool. So has telling this story helped you in any way?
For sure. The first chapter was written actually years ago. And I originally just to put pen to paper all of those emotions that I felt back in the day, and kind of just hash it out internally. And then, like, as I mentioned, when I got further along in the writing, it kind of healed in a way, like all of that anger, I would say. The story obviously doesn't follow exactly my own experiences, but the heart of it and the emotions of it are all still there. And it helped me come to terms with what happened and let go of like any leftover resentment or bitterness or anything like that.
That's interesting. It helped you heal. I don't know if I could come to that, but I love that it was able to do that for you and probably like a lot of your readers.
Oh, I was just going to say, well, I think part of it too is the fact that I know the ending, and since it is based off of, like my own love story, so it's kind of like it was just that little bit of leftover bitterness, just because there is a happy ending. So I'm not like entirely jaded, but I'm not like, it was just that little bit that I needed to get over in order to, I guess, move on in a sense. But yeah, basically.
Have you received any criticism of it?
I'm actually surprised to say I haven't.
Cool.
I do preface the entire fic with like a little note that says that it's very close to me and to be kind. I haven't gotten any criticism, but who knows? I haven't finished it yet, so there's still time.
I've been writing for a few years, and I feel like just this past year, I feel like I finally got myself like a dedicated hater who hates on everything I do. The sensitive part of me can't handle that. But then the other part of me, I'm like, this means I made it.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
I am legend. Now, Song of Mine seems like such a heavy and intense story. Do you ever have trouble getting into the right headspace in order to sit down and write it?
I definitely need to be in the right headspace to write Song of Mine, which is, that's why with everything going on, it's so difficult to just even sit down and like read it right now. But I feel so bad because I was putting it off for so long already, for good reason. I was marrying the love of my life. But, with everything going on, I just can't bring myself to get into it. Like I attempted to do it, I want to say like a couple of days ago, and it was really hard. I couldn't do it.
Yeah, which is totally understandable, Like everybody is going through an amazing amount of stress, whether you're out there working or whether you're trapped at home. Everybody's going through something, so yeah, no shame. All right, so here is a list of questions. I'm going to throw them at you, and let's start it off with, is there a story you're holding off on writing for some reason?
Okay, so hear me out.
Okay.
So because of where I work, I've had this like nagging urge to write a fic that takes place in like a government type of setting. And like the nature of my job and like my past jobs in the government, it allowed me to work with and learn the ins and outs of like a lot of different departments. So, oh my God, there's literally inspiration everywhere I look. But okay, so the biggest one, Santana as like maybe the mayor's communications director, and then Brittany as like a news reporter.
Oh my gosh, I want
just imagine the conflict of like realizing you're falling in love and like the drama of it all. Ugh,
dude. I need this in my life. Oh my God, who's the mayor?
I haven't even got that far. Like
Can it be Rachel?
Oh my God, see, I would totally do that. God damn it, now I'm thinking about it all over again. Every time there's a presser at work and I have to watch it, I think of this fic all the time. I'm like, God damn it.
It's like, I want whoever you said mayor or governor, whoever, I want them to be like super obnoxious, and Santana is always having to like rein them in or wrangle them or smooth out something they said in the press. I love that, and I want that.
Okay, I give permission to anybody who's listening in. If you want to write that, go ahead and do it. Just let me know so I can read it.
Yeah. Okay, so what work of yours, if any, are you most embarrassed about existing?
Okay, well, I already mentioned this, but it was the first one that I ever posted. It was called As I Am, and it was so bad. It was so long. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it gained a lot of traction with, like, follows and favorites back then. And at one point, I think there was, like, 500 reviews or something, or whatever. I don't know. And I was really proud of it, but then I deleted it. So, like, I deleted it because there was other stuff happening in my life, and I just didn't want it on the internet anymore. But, like, the whole thing is saved, so I have it, and it's just like, what the fuck, you guys? Like, if any of my old readers are still out there and listening to this, and you actually liked As I Am, you are a literal saint, and I am very, very sorry.
Of all the fics you've written, like, what's your favorite version of Brittany and Santana?
It's so hard to pick, but I don't have like this massive inventory to choose from, but I do have this one fic called You Found Her Then, You'll Find Her Again, and it's only like 5 chapters long, and it's like each chapter they're a different age and they keep running into each other, but you know, it makes it, like, circumstances make it so that they lose contact every time until they finally like reconnect or whatever. But I really like that one because you sort of see them grow up and you just see like their thought processes change, I guess. It's from Santana's point of view, so I guess you just see Santana. But you know, now that I think about it, I think I actually have an epilogue to that floating around somewhere, and I just never posted it.
Oh, please post it, because I actually just reread that one in preparation for this little interview, and I was in love with it because it's like passages of time.
Yeah.
Like, we sort of flash forward, you know, with every chapter, and I love that. I love when fics do that. Mm-hmm. It feels sweeping, and I love that. What's something you would go back and change in your writing that it's too late, complicated to change now?
Well, I try to avoid this at all costs. Mm-hmm. So, like, especially with Song of Mine, I really want to make sure that what I'm posting is like really, it's like fully vetted. Like, I don't post a new chapter until I have at least like 4 or 5 chapters ahead, like already written. So if I'm writing and something doesn't seem right, you know, I'll go back a few chapters and edit and drop a hint, or like remove something that I don't want to hint at just yet, or like, like I just try to avoid anything that's gonna like fuck me over in the end. But basically I'm just sitting on like 4 completed chapters of Song of Mine, and everyone probably hates me.
You know, I used to do that. Not anymore. I can't. Period. Let's post it up. And then everybody has to wait like 3 months for another update. I'm horrible. Let's see. When asked, are you embarrassed or enthusiastic to tell people that you write fanfic?
So no one but my closest friends know that I write fanfiction. Mm-hmm. I don't hide that I write in general. Like, every once in a while, you know, I'll post an IG story that I'm writing or editing, and then like my coworker will reply and she's like, "Oh, what is this?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's just for fun." Super awkward. Like, I'm gonna just not answer that question, but only my closest friends know. Sometimes I get exposed because they're assholes, but other than that, it's fine.
Like I mentioned this in a previous little interview I did with Riz, Where's My Naya? Mm-hmm. And it's like there's still like a built-in shame about writing fanfic.
Right, yeah, there is.
And yet I always see these news articles about like 16-year-olds writing One Direction fanfic and getting movie deals, and I'm like, well, I'm just sitting here.
Yeah. For real though, yeah, it's pretty upsetting, but like, I don't know, I don't think I can bring myself to like, you know, expose myself in that way, in hopes that I get a movie deal, you know, like, I don't know, I don't think I can do that.
Yeah. Alright, so, what's your favorite genre to write? Angst, fluff, porn?
I like a good mix. I don't think I could do like just one versus the other. Like I need there to be a mix of kind of like 2 or 3 or like, you know, a good mix. I do like angst and I like I want to write angst, but then I don't like angst. You know what I mean? Like it hurts too much. So I don't like angst, but I like a good amount of angst.
So what, if anything, do you do for inspiration?
I listen to music when I write. So like usually it's just like instrumental music, but with Song of Mine, I like to throw in some gospel music threaded in there. But yeah, Song of Mine, honestly, well, actually, yeah, I think with Song of Mine especially, I listen to a lot more gospel music. But yeah, usually I'm listening to like something instrumental, because I can't listen to the words in my head and the words coming at me.
Same. Yeah. What do you think your weaknesses are as an author?
Okay, so I would say I struggle a lot with like less is more, if that makes sense. You know, like when you really want to make sure your readers get what you're putting down. But like for me, I don't want to come off as like shoving it down their throat. So I struggle with that a lot. Like I want to make sure that it's clear, but then at the same time, I don't want it to be like forced. So, you know, sometimes less is more, but I have to learn to trust the readers that they're gonna get it. Yeah.
I think I have that same problem, because we have to paint pictures for the readers. And sometimes it's like I am too detailed, just because like I'm the queen of shoving it down their throats. But what do you think your strengths are as an author?
I would probably say I put a lot of thought into my fics. Like it takes a lot of effort. A lot of effort goes into like making sure my writing is honest and relatable and realistic. And I don't want it to come off as like way too dramatic or like, you know, like, I can't like if I were to go back and read the As I Am fic, the first one that I ever published, that one was so dramatic, and I don't know how. Like, what was I going through? I don't know. It was like, I want to ask my past self, like, what's happening? Are you okay? I don't know.
Yeah. Do you make playlists for your fanfics? And I guess you listen to a lot of instrumental stuff, you said.
I do listen to instrumental when I'm writing, but I do have playlists. I kind of have like a sort of master playlist for fics, like just the feeling of, you know, oh, this song makes me think of, like this song elicits a Britannia emotion. Like that's pretty much, and then I just add that to that playlist.
Yeah. Like I have multiple playlists. Like I have like one that it really makes me think of Santana. I have one that's just dedicated to Britney. And then I have one that's sort of like about them as a couple. I'm a little bit neurotic.
I think that's great. You should drop those playlists somewhere, because I would totally listen in.
Oh man. Okay. Yeah. I need to get on that. Were there any fics you've read that affected you so much that it influenced your writing style or just inspired you?
I wouldn't say it influenced my writing style, but when I was jumping back into the fandom a few years ago, because I literally just like fell off the face of the earth, but I was jumping back in, and then I read LK's You Gave Me the Word I Finally Heard. Bro, that shit lit a fire in me like no other. Like, it 100% brought me back to writing. I love it so much. Like, I even bought the book she published. It's amazing.
Yes, I have it here too.
Oh, God. It's just like, I fangirl every time. It's so good. Ugh.
Yeah. When I was talking to LK for one of these little episodes, I asked her what she would describe her work as, and she said emotional. And I'm like, ooh, that is spot on, because it like her fics, like they reach into the reader's like chest and just like play with your heart.
Oh my God.
Now, when it comes to more complicated narratives, like how do you keep track of your outlines and your characters and development and timeline?
I have like a general outline that I try to stick to, but I leave it vague enough, you know, so that I can still play with it. But yeah, I kind of know the trajectory of the story in general, and then I just kind of like, I try to steer it, but you know, stuff happens. But
yeah. Do you write in long sit-down sessions or in little spurts?
I gotta do the long sit-down ones, because I get distracted very easily. But yeah, if I'm in a writing mood, give me a cup of coffee at like 2 p.m. and I'll be up all night just writing and editing. It's got to be a long sit down session. I can't do the little spurt things.
How do you do that? Like, how do you have the discipline to do that? Because I try to do that, and then I write in Google Docs, and then I'm like, I'm gonna click away and just check Tumblr for like 5 minutes. 4 hours later, I'm still on Tumblr, and
I mean that happens to me too. But then like I remember that I'm doing something, but like coffee and me don't go well together, only because it gives me just like way too much anxiety and too much energy. Everybody like knows I'm not allowed to drink coffee after like 11 a.m. because then I'll just stay up for like 72 hours. So, and it's happened before.
Holy moly.
And I'm pretty sure that's how I wrote that one fic, the You Found Her Then, You'll Find Her Again. I'm pretty sure I wrote that in one sitting just because I drank coffee. And then I edited it later on. But yeah, no, I need coffee, and I'll, as soon as I have that and I'm in that mood of just like writing, I will sit down forever.
I wish I had your discipline. What do you think when you read over your older work? Which I feel like we probably we touched base on that.
Yeah, well, I mean, I get embarrassed by it, but I do get a little nostalgic because, like, I know where I was in my life at that time and like, when I wrote it, and it just, like, shows how much has happened since then, you know, like, how much I've grown as, like, a human, or as for the actual work itself, it's just like, oh my god, what were you doing? Why is there so many things happening? Why is this so fucking dramatic? Oh my god.
Like, I've said this in my talk with LK and with Riz. Like, stories, they get us to where we need to be. And, like, even though we look back on them and we're just like, oh, it helped us, like, grow in its own way. And so I'm always thankful for my old stories, even though, like, because I have stories that I've never posted. And some, like, every few years I'll go back and I'll reread them. Just for myself, and I was just like, ooh, you are not as funny as you think you are, girl.
Like, it doesn't hit, you know?
It doesn't hit,
jokes don't land, and it's like, oh god, what was this? What were you doing?
Are there any subjects that make you uncomfortable to write?
I generally stay away from anything that's, like, super heavy, like abuse or sexual assault, but pretty much anything that I feel I wouldn't be able to do justice. So, like, you know, like, I try to stick to my own lane, I guess, you know, like, things that I've experienced. I don't really want to attempt to even just try to delve into something else, like, something that is heavy, just because I really feel like I can't do that justice.
Any obscure life experiences that you feel have helped your writing?
Well, especially with Song of Mine, you know, like, growing up in the church and, like, falling in love with my best friend. She's, like, the perfect Christian girl, and dealing with, like, the whole aftermath of all of that. That shit changes you.
Have you ever become an expert on something you previously knew nothing about in order to better a scene or a story?
I wouldn't say I'm an expert, but I definitely, you know, try to make sure I'm delivering realistic content. So, like, in Song of Mine, there's a few scenes with Santana and a therapist, and one of my best friends, he's getting his PsyD right now. So so like, I pick his brain a lot. So, even if those scenes are there's so few of them, and they're not even that long, but, like, I get into these really long conversations with him of, like, what kind of therapy would fit this situation, and is this something a therapist would say, you know, like, what would you do if a client were to say this, and stuff like that. Like, I really pick his brain. I'm sure he's annoyed a lot by it, but, you know, that's the price you pay, so that's for being my friend.
And that, I mean, that just sort of shows, like, how, like, attentive to detail you are. I love that. I love that. What's the weirdest AU you've ever come up with? I mean, published or unpublished?
So, I don't think I've come up with anything too weird, but I do have, like, a notepad on my phone that I add to every time I think of something, and it's just full of, like, these random prompts that I've never written, but they're pretty mild. But I would say I've had this idea for, like, a cute little one-shot, maybe, of Brit like selling weird shit on Craigslist, but then like she uses her neighbor's address because she doesn't want the weirdos to know where she lives, and of course that neighbor is Santana, so hilarity.
I imagine Santana would be like, you're giving all these people my address, and like, how do you know they're not creeps? Stop.
Yeah, and she's like, exactly, that's why I'm giving them your address.
and Santana's like all roughly about it at first. Oh my gosh, I love that. What is your favorite fanfic trope?
Okay, so I would say, like, enemies to friends to lovers. I eat that shit up. Like, I don't know how many times I have to read that, but, like, it's give it to me. I don't care. Just if you have an idea for enemies to friends to lovers, or even just friends to lovers, like, I will devour that shit.
It's so delicious to read.
It is.
It's
like,
just,
I just love it.
Yeah. It's like, it's candy.
It really is.
Okay, what fanfic trope do you wish would go away?
Cheating. Ugh, point blank. Like, it's just unnecessary. Cheating and Britannia just don't go together. Like, it's not a thing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But then, like, other than that, I can't do therapist-client. And I know, like, I say that because, like, I just can't do it because it's just, because of, you know how I mentioned, like, my best friend, he's getting his PsyD, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, every time I see therapist-client, I'm just like, ugh. That I've read Room 47, and I kind of hate how much I like it, like, how much I love it. But it does make me a little uncomfortable at sometimes, but I do love Room 47, and I kind of hate myself a little for it.
Yeah, Room 47, like, it's been so long since I read it. I only read it once, and it's been so long. I remember, like, enjoying it or whatever, but, like, now that I'm older, I'm just like, ethics.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the same feeling that so when I first read it, I didn't really have an issue with it. But then I reread it again, and I was like, I can't do this. But then I just kept going, and I was like, oh, yeah, all right, okay, I get it. I'm in love. That's right, okay.
I mean, I guess we have to suspend belief for a moment to enjoy that. It's like, it's fantasy in a way, I guess.
Yeah. It's the only therapist-client one I can read. I can't do any other ones. But cheating, point blank, I cannot do.
Well, I don't think there's that much cheating. Like, have you read a lot of cheating? I think I've only read 2, maybe 3, 3 fics where they cheat.
I'm trying to think now, because I think I did read a couple, but it's not just cheating, like cheating on each other, but like cheating if, like, one of them are already in a relationship.
Oh.
Like, I can't really get past that.
Okay.
I don't know why, but, like, I can't. I just can't do it. I mean, I probably could. I just can't. Like, it's just gonna irritate me a little bit. Maybe if it's done right. Like, if it's done in a way... I don't know. I'm probably going to dig myself into a hole. But, yeah, I don't know. I can't do if they're already in a relationship. Like, just leave.
Yeah, exactly. Break up with the person. But on this note, it's like a month or 2 ago, before all of this, like, virus lockdown stuff started happening, I did have an idea for an AU. Do you know that Robin song, Call Your Girlfriend?
I do not.
Oh, okay. Well, it's basically like she sings, call your girlfriend, it's time you had to talk, give your reasons, say it's not her fault, but you met somebody new. It's sort of just like Robin telling a boy or whoever, go call your girlfriend and tell her it's over because this right here is on. Anyways, it's a really fun dancey track, and I'm like, oh, I want to make a Britannia AU about this. We've been meeting on the dance floor, and yeah. And Brittany's like, go call your girlfriend, tell her it's over.
I would love that. Like, the immediate chemistry, and then it's just like, yeah, no, you gotta do this.
What's your favorite fanfic AU scenario or setting, like, to read? Like, rockstar AU, celebrity AU?
I have 2. So I really like holiday fics. It's like something about that just satisfies my craving for, like, a cheesy gay Hallmark Christmas movie.
Yes.
And I'm a big sucker for historical fics. Like, I don't know what it is about historical fics, but like, maybe because they're usually slow burns, and like the amount of pining and longing looks, that just feeds my soul. Like, put that shit in an IV bag and inject it directly into my veins.
I think you and LK both said y'all love historical fics. For some reason, I can't get down with historical fics.
Why?
Maybe because it's like, I like to read what I like to write, which is like rom-com, and it's like very obvious and very immediate. And like you said, historical fics are generally slow burns, and it's just like, they have more aching to them.
Ah, I see. Yeah.
And I'm like, nope, I want the action now.
But I love that aching. Like, I feel like I want to, like, clutch my heart and just be like, it's okay. It's gonna work out.
Would you, or have you ever written an unhappy ending?
I can't bring myself to do it. My heart would hurt. I can't do that.
I don't think I could either. If you could own one authentic item from your favorite fandom world, what would it be?
Alright, so this is gonna make me sound like a shit fan. But I tend to not buy things like this because, like, you know, I just don't know what I would do with it. And I don't have, like, the largest apartment, so I can't exactly, like, put it on display without my wife being like, really? Is this necessary? You know? Mm-hmm. And so I legit asked her, I was like, what would you want? And she literally said Lord Tubington. Aww. And I listened to your episode with Where's My Naya, and she said LT2. So, you know, if you're listening, you're going to have to fight her on that
one. I think I would want something from Santana's room. I don't know why. I just feel like a closer connection to her, and so I would want something from her.
Like what, though? Like a poster?
I have no idea. Her bed. It's seen some things.
I'm sure.
What is the strangest thing you've done to honor your favorite fandom?
It's not strange, but you know, I wouldn't even go so far as to say that it was done to honor them. But Songbird is like the ultimate song for me, and I even call my wife my Songbird because she has the most beautiful voice I've ever heard. So naturally, it kind of became our song, you know.
I'm sorry. Do you hear the dog barking in the back?
Yeah.
I am so sorry. My dog meme is going off because she heard the doorbell. The mailman just drops a package off. So side note, I'm like self-isolating away from my family. So I've been stuck in my room a lot, and I ordered some like zero gravity chairs for the backyard so I can like chill. And so yeah, that's
what it is.
Yeah. Okay, hold on one sec. Let me. Will you chill out? Oh, dang. Go lay down. Hopefully, I can minimize that. Are you what George R.R. Martin would call an architect or a gardener? As in, how much do you plan in advance versus letting the story unfold as you go?
I think maybe I try to be an architect, but I leave some room for gardening, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know, like I try not to suffocate my story to fit exactly what I want. Yeah, I just don't want it to feel too forced. So I try to be an architect, but then I leave room.
Yeah, I like that. I like that phrase. You try not to suffocate your stories. So, as I mentioned in the previous little episode of this, that I came across a Tumblr post not too long ago, and it got me to thinking. I'm going to quote it right here. And it says, "My favorite thing is how some authors have specific dialogue tags they like to use, like he excelled or whatever, and sometimes they use one more often than the other, and it kind of reminds me of a fingerprint. No other author could exactly emulate the thoughtless habits of other authors. It feels nice to notice the little unique things that you do that make your writing all your own. Maybe it doesn't need your name plastered all over it to communicate that it belongs to you and it came from you. So with this in mind, do you think you have a fingerprint? Like, in my fics, it's very subtle, but I always have references to the Golden Girls, and I, for some reason, like, make a lot of jokes about Taylor Swift.
Well, especially for the multi-chapter ones, I like to have that sort of recurring theme. Mm-hmm. And then Song of Mine, you know, I mentioned I write multiple chapters ahead, so sometimes I'll go back and insert little Easter eggs or like foreshadowing. But yeah, as for inside jokes, sometimes I'll use dialogue from like real life banter with my friends just because it's fucking hilarious to me, and it brings no one else joy but myself, but I do it anyways. Yeah, I don't know. And then especially with Hanaho too, like there's a lot of jokes that I feel like local people would laugh at and understand. But I don't think anybody local is reading that fic. So, like, it brings literally no one else joy but myself.
But, I mean, sometimes that's what you gotta do. You gotta give yourself those little nuggets, because at the end of the day, I feel like the majority of what we do is right for ourselves.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
That was it. Those are all my questions. But finally, is there anything you'd like to say to the fandom during this time? Anything, words of encouragement?
Yes. If anyone is struggling out there, don't give up. Like, reach out to somebody if you need to. Just know that we're going to get through this. It will get better. I promise you. And with that being said, be nice, be kind, don't be a dick. Just treat others as if they're like one wrong word away from a total breakdown.
Oh my gosh, yes. Not to get too heavy. I was supposed to work today, but I was just I had a little bit of a breakdown yesterday and I cried. And so I was like, you know what? I'm just going to call in today and I'm not coming. It's like, you know what? I'm not going to be doing anything productive today, but I just needed today to
you needed that break, that little mental break.
If they want to fire me, fire me. So, thank you so much for taking the time to answer these questions.
Of course. This was really fun.
Yeah, I just wanted to do something for the fandom and to just sort of distract us and make us, laugh for a little bit.
Yeah, this has definitely lifted my spirits.
Well, it's been great talking to you. Again, thank you so much. Thank you to everybody who's listening. Stay safe, guys. Stay home. Thank you so much. All right, bye.